how to fix your sleep schedule. So I think when we're first talking about how to fix your sleep schedule, we need to first look at why it's so appealing to stay awake. Why would we want to stay up and just stay distracted versus actually getting some extra sleep? So one of the first things I think of is, of course, those distractions we talked about earlier. So maybe it's TV, maybe it's your phone, maybe it's your work or your studies. These are a few things that are very, very common for individuals that are letting people, basically forcing them to want to stay awake, because if you think about it in society, I guess in long-term society, as in the caveman times, we didn't really have a reason to stay awake. There wasn't any distractions. If we were tired from the day, and likely we were because we were out hunting all day, our body's going to sleep. And it's interesting because as humans, we are somebody who actively chooses to not get enough sleep. We actively choose to not get enough sleep for our body. So those are some of the reasons why that might actually be occurring. And I think in knowing this, we can tackle resetting our sleep schedule or fixing our sleep schedule by trying to find ways to first wean off of these items. So one of the ways you can do this is by putting timers on your electronics. I know a lot of iPhones and cell phones nowadays, you can put like a 30-minute timer on it, maybe just throughout the whole day or at a specific time. It can be like a shutdown time, say from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. You're not able to use your phone just from something you've set up on. That can be a huge, crucial thing. I think another big lever to pull when we're trying to improve our sleep schedule again is to not have distractions in our bedroom. Remember, making our bedroom just about sleep and not about TV, not having our phone in there, not having all these other distractions, not having an office. That's something I personally used to have. I used to have an office actually in my room, and that really was hard for me because psychologically my brain couldn't really tell hey, is it work time, or hey, is this time that I should be spending in the bed, right? It was hard for me to say. So trying to separate the room, our sleep room, and these items that make it appealing to stay awake, TV, work, phone, is super, super crucial. Another thing that I really like, I have a bedtime timer, like a sunrise and sunset timer, where I press it 30 minutes before bedtime, and it is really bright in my room. And then after 30 minutes, it'll slowly start to lower to the point where then it goes completely off. And this is almost like setting a bedtime for me. We have wake up times in the morning. This is kind of a way for my brain and body to get ready to calm down for bedtime. And I find it very helpful for myself. You could try that as well. Just go into Google and type in sunrise alarms. Actually, I'll probably end up putting a link to one in the description of this podcast. But in addition to this, those distracting activities, we want to try to replace them with calming activities. So not only are we taking the activities like the phone or our work that might be causing us stress, might be causing us anxiety, and might be just getting us down a rabbit hole, and replacing them with the calming activities. This can be something like meditating, maybe having a conversation with your spouse, kids, tucking them in, reading them a bedtime story. That's not only calming for you, but also for your kids. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. It's a really good thing. That's for just an example. If you don't have kids, maybe reading yourself a bedtime story, right? Like reading a book. I like reading before bed in conjunction with that bedtime timer I just talked about. You could listen to some calming music, really good way to do it. Journaling is another really effective tool, a calming activity that you can use to help fix your sleep schedule, as this helps with anxiety and also trains your brain that, hey, when I am journaling, this is right before bedtime. So it can kind of retrain your brain to think. And then when actually fixing the sleep schedule and going from A to Z, starting small is super, super crucial. So maybe just doing 15 to 30 minutes earlier of your sleep one night. So say you go to bed at 9 o'clock one night, tomorrow, let's just say we're going to go to bed at 8:45. 15 minutes earlier, right? 15 minutes earlier. Try that for a couple days and then add on another 15 minutes. Go to 8:30 after 4 to 5 days, right? You're trying to build this up, just being consistent. One of the things you don't want to do at all costs is sleep in. This is going to cause a whole host of issues. You're going to set up your sleep schedule even worse. And I think just something to be said about sleeping in general. If you're trying to have the most consistent sleep patterns and just the good enough sleep in general, sleeping in is terrible for this. Sleeping in, you want to treat every day almost as if it's the same. If you're sick and you need to recover, this is kind of a different story, but ultimately trying to keep that sleep as consistent as possible. And then the last way we can kind of fix our sleep schedule is by giving yourself a time frame. So don't just say, oh, school starts tomorrow, so I'm going to start my new sleep schedule tonight. This is not going to be easy on you. Realize, for one, it's going to suck initially, but your body will change very, very rapidly, very, very quickly. So if your school starts in 2 weeks, maybe you're going to do that technique we talked about earlier. Say you want to go to bed at 8:30, but you currently go to bed at 9:30. Maybe the first week you can try to go to bed at 9 o'clock to 9:15. And then the week after that, leading up to school, you can try going to bed at 8:45 to 9. And then the week actually of school, try to actually go to 8:30. So just kind of working yourself back up. But I think setting yourself up in a proper room is extremely crucial.